Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy HMK here once again, and I'd like to welcome you back into the fifth dimension. You know, we always deal with the number 5 on these things, but today is a very special day. It's not like it's happening tomorrow or it's happening yesterday or anything like that. It's today. Today is the day, March 3rd, 6 years of Breath of the Wild and Nintendo Switch. Now, to get a little bit in the move, I usually always have this one specific track playing in the background of the fifth dimension. But for this episode, we're going to go ahead and put a pause on that and have this play in the background instead. Now, this stream is going to be a very special live stream in which we're going to recount the best memories that we had for both Breath of the Wild and Nintendo Switch, which both came out on the same day, the Switch launch, March 3rd. Now, to get you guys' feet wet a little bit, over on YouTube and Twitch, I want to ask y'all, what is the fondest memory that you guys had from Breath of the Wild or the Nintendo Switch in general? Now, when it comes to the Switch, let's go down memory lane right now. As you can see up here, right? That's where my Switch, my original Switch, my Gen 0 Switch. Let's take it down. Let's take it down. All right. This is my original Switch, right? 6 years, and it, technically, it still works. It still works. 6 years, right? It's nice, clean, and whatever. But right now, I'm running a Switch OLED. And unfortunately, if you guys watched my live streams when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or even anything beyond that, the fact that there's a Gen 0 Switch is because, this theme is kind of loud. The fact that there's a Gen 0 Switch is that, it's the little engine that could, and it kept going as long as it could. But unfortunately, the reason why this had to be replaced is because the fans in it stopped working, which I'm honestly thinking about taking it over to go get repaired by Nintendo or whatever. And since I have a Switch right now, it's not like I'm in dire need of a Switch, right? So just to have this kept around, it's crazy what this little thing has done in 6 years to not only change my life, but to change the whole concept of gaming. This along with Breath of the Wild. A lot of people really thought that after the heels of the Wii U, Nintendo was going to be like, oh man, Nintendo, what are they doing? Man, the Wii U sucked, which it did really bad in sales. And then they want to do tablet gaming in which you can have this, and let's get these Joy-Cons right here, which these Joy-Cons I got from Japan, right? And honestly, that's another thing I want to say that I love about the Switch. I love the Switch, how it brought back color, specifics, like how Nintendo used to do back in the day with the N64 and the Game Boy Color and all that stuff. So a console that allows you to take on the go in tablet form, right? And to play as a home console, people were like, yo, how's that gonna work? How's that gonna fly? It's like, asymmetrical gaming didn't work out for the Wii U, and now Nintendo apparently wants to double down on this even more, a step ahead. People are like, man, the Switch was never going to, get its feet off the ground. And look at us now. Look at the Switch now, ladies and gentlemen. The Switch is literally on its way to becoming, it already is one of the highest selling consoles of all time, right? But it's looking out for number 1. It's still got a little bit of the ways there, right? But that's crazy. But along with this amazing new console that came out way back when, 6 years ago, we got Breath of the Wild, right? Breath of the Wild, when people say Breath of the Wild isn't a Zelda game or isn't a good game in general, I have to shake my head, right? Because sure, reviews and opinions exist of how how people would like or don't like Breath of the Wild or anything like that. Weapon breaking, the rain with a slippery slope and all that stuff. And maybe open air games aren't for you, and that's fine. But Breath of the Wild truly changed the landscape of gaming when it comes to how other developers want to be like Breath of the Wild in terms of open air adventure, right? You know, open world games have existed before. You know, Breath of the Wild, Zelda they didn't come up with the concept of open world games, right? But Breath of the Wild did something to the open world genre that turned it from open world to open air, where it added a level of verticality and speed and such a reward for exploration and experimentation with not just its approach to open world design in open air, but also with the insanely intuitive physics engine. Sure, like Breath of the Wild ain't perfect, right? Let's talk about that for a little bit, right? Breath of the Wild ain't perfect, and I'm just gonna gush over the game. Like this is the fifth dimension. I'm just here to gush, right? And I'm here for you to gush with me. Who's my special guest? You, right? Even with Breath of the Wild not having like good enemy variety, you know, like it only had like a couple of like I could count the enemies in my hand, like Bokoblins, Moblins, Lizalfos, you know, Lynels, Talus, Yiga, you know, so on and so forth. Choo-choos, Wizrobes, blah, blah, blah. It didn't really have a lot of enemy variety, and a lot of people thought the weapon breaking was bad, and that's slipping when it comes to rainwater on the world, which I personally like because it made the world feel alive, and I liked weapon breaking because, you know, it made the world feel, it gave a level of danger and dire to Breath of the Wild that makes you stay on your toes in terms of always being stacked with weapons and all that other stuff. But the thing I'm trying to get towards is that while the game wasn't perfect and it had its issues and detriments, Breath of the Wild, the pluses on Breath of the Wild are so insanely high and good. It's just like, I have never experienced something like this before, right? You know, there are so many games that came out before Breath of the Wild that, like, you know, they claim, and to some, it works to a degree where they're like, oh, you can tackle this problem any way you like, and you could tackle a dungeon, you could tackle an enemy, you could tackle the world from any direction, in any order, any way you like, right? It wasn't until Breath of the Wild where that essence truly got solidified in so many ways. I thought that was, you know, impossible in gaming. The closest example I would get to that before Breath of the Wild that I played was Metal Gear Solid 5, in which, sure, you know, there were limitations on how you approach certain missions in the overworld, but depending on how you did stuff, because like Metal Gear Solid is by tradition a stealth action game, right? And if you decide to go guns blazing, the game is not going to reward you for it. But what do you call it? Metal Gear Solid 5, depending on how you do your missions, you get a different level of grading each time. Like if you want to go guns blazing, I forgot what the designations were, but if you want to go guns blazing, you get Snake, rank A. Or if you want, no, you get Bear, rank A. If you go all sneaky, you get Snake, rank S. Or you get Fox, rank C. So on and so forth. And I'm like, oh, okay. This really lets me know that I can do things my way and still be rewarded for it, right? Dope, awesome, cool, right? But in the essence of Breath of the Wild, it really gave me the ideas like, hey, okay, after you get off the Great Plateau, you're good to go. I mean, like King Hyrule, King Rome, Bosrahamus, Hyrule, whatever, he tells you like, hey, when you get off the Great Plateau, maybe you should go make for the Twin Peaks and then the Dueling Peaks, whatever, and make for Kakariko Village. Guys, that was a suggestion. I still did it. But that was truly a suggestion. I went to Kakariko Village, I met Empa, I learned a little bit more about the stuff, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to go meet Empa. You don't have to go and learn about pious papaya seed butt tattoo mark, birthmark, whatever. You didn't have to learn all that. You can just, if you want, you could have made for the desert. If you want, you can go to any direction you wanted. And that was the beauty of it, right? Luckily, as soon as you got off the Great Plateau, there were some horses for the taking, right? And then when I got to Kakariko Village, there was you can make way for the Great Promenade. You know what I did instead? I went to the graveyard of Kakariko Village. I call it the graveyard, but I mean, that's where they're buried or whatever. I went to the graveyard of Kakariko Village. And I'm like, I see the watery marsh that would lead towards the Lonaru province. And I just jumped off the cliff. I just something told me to jump. I was all like, hey, maybe I should go that way. That's my journey. And that's every other, anyone could take their journey to the maximum. And that's not without saying the physics engine. Like the physics engine in that game. Like, once again, going off the genre, going off the idea of what I thought was impossible with before Breath of the Wild, that I found that was possible in gaming with Breath of the Wild, is having a physics engine that intuitive and that smart. You know, seeing Link being able to burn all these bushes in real time, the fire leading all the way towards, you know, a bokoblin, setting that thing on fire, right? The fire leading up into an updraft in order for me to go off and sail, thanks to like all the heat rising off from grass and whatever. Just like the amount of stuff you're able to do and the amount of stuff that people were able to discover to do. Like, people were doing some wacky shit in Breath of the Wild. That's crazy. And of course, a lot of it got patched out, but a lot of it remained. When it comes to, like, you know, doing the whole stasis thing and just flying out into the distance, bomb surfing. And remember, I don't know if you guys ever played, like, were any of you guys there when Breath of the Wild first came out and people were doing the magnet, the flying magnet cart thing? Were you guys there? Nah, that was a time. Now, like, unfortunately, that was something that did need to be patched out, because I mean, like, that was truly game breaking, but people were finding out some wild boy shit. Oh my lord. But that was wild. Breath of the Wild. And then, like, the fun memory that I've had when it comes to Breath of the Wild was going and seeing Zora's Domain for the first time, right? Hearing a remix to Zora's Domain, like, you know, from Ocarina of Time, hearing that remix going off into the city, just like, that was like the first city I went to. You know, I could have gone to Gerudo Town, I could have gone to Goron City, I could have gone to Rito Village or anything like that. No, I went to Zora's Domain first, right? And then it was raining, obviously, because of the story, and it was nighttime, and seeing that gigantic, glowing Zora's Domain, because this shit was not revealed before the game came out, thank Lord, right? And I'm like, there's me walking and hearing the Zora's Domain remix in the background. I'm like, hey, Zora's Domain, Ocarina of Time, I'm here. Bro, what? It was magical, right? It was so magical. And luckily, I got that magic every time I went to a new town, every time I went to a new village, right? And the fact that opening doors to, like everything was seamless except for warping and except for going into Sheikah shrines. But everything was seamless, right? Oh, I mean, like fighting as divine beasts, fine, whatever you want to call it. But everything was seamless. Opening doors, going into houses, going into shops, or whatever, going into the world and whatnot. You can, like, literally go from one point of the world to another point of the world and not experience a loading screen. That's, man, that was insane. That was insane, bro. I'm still thinking about it, still geeking about it. But then we also have to talk about how this adventure was able to be brought around on the go. How? You know, like the Switch was magic. Now, of course, you know, there were performance issues when the game first came out, right? Hello. No. Come here. Now that you're here, you got to say hi to the fifth dimension.
Hi, bye, because I gotta go.
You gotta go where? Oh, look, it's Ella.
Hello,
So now answer a question. What was your fondest memory of Breath of the Wild? 6 years. 6 years today, Breath of the Wild and the Switch.
The stupid glitch of flying through the air on the metal thing.
On the minecart glitch? I mean, yeah, that's something that you had to experience when you first got the game, right? That
was really, really fun, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Other than that, riding the seals, because I love seals, is my favorite animal.
Oh, the sand seals? Oh, actually, that was really cool.
Yeah,
that was super, super, super cool. I just wish you could use weapons on them. I mean, you could use your bow, but I mean, like, I would like to swing my sword.
Yeah, like
right
swing around. But I gotta get going.
All right.
I'll be back in a bit. Bye, guys. Enjoy the station. Hi.
So, like, see, look at that. Great memories with this game. right? And that you're able to take on the go, and like it was insane. And I honestly like here's the thing, right? Like I love Nintendo and I love like the products they put out when they put out some really cool products and whatnot. And I've been playing the Switch. I've played the Switch before, before release. Nintendo sent me a Gen Zero Switch on the 23rd of February, which was like some odd days, before March 3rd. And then they also invited me to the Switch event that happened in New York. So I played the Switch because when I first saw the Switch get revealed and I saw the Switch event and then I saw Jimmy Kimmel, when I actually went and played it for myself, I still had doubts. I had doubts every step of the way until it was in my hand, right? And I'm like, this works. This is something that can work. This is something that will change gaming, right? Bro, right? And what a perfect game to release alongside this piece of tech than Breath of the Wild. And 2017 in general was an insane year. It was an insane year for gaming, but mostly insane year for Switch. I mean, for Switch, 2017 launched with Breath of the Wild, and then we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then we got Splatoon 3. No, we got ARMS, and then we got Splatoon 2. My bad. We had ARMS, we had Splatoon 2, we had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we had Super Mario Odyssey, all in 1 year. That can't be beat. That can't be beat. Bro. And I have to send the Switch back. Like I can't say goodbye to these memories. I have to send the Switch in for repair. I can't say goodbye. I cannot say goodbye. Like this little engine that could, right? But how many, like here's another question to ask y'all in the chats, right? How many hours do you have in Breath of the Wild, right? Because I played Breath of the Wild on my Switch, on my old Switch, multiple files on Ella's Switch. I played Breath of the Wild so many times. I probably have like more than 1,000 hours into this game, right? And I'm just this like I don't want to use the word like rekindle, right? But this truly, like, it was like becoming a Zelda fan all over again. That's the best way to put it. When I played Breath of the Wild, it was like becoming a Zelda fan all over again. Because, like, once again, story time from back in the day, because this is the fifth dimension, right? And this is gonna get you guys hyped up for Tears of the Kingdom, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen my latest video over on YouTube, I put out my top 10 reasons why I'm hyped for Tears of the Kingdom, so you guys should definitely check it out and share it up. But story time again. Breath of the Wild, I played Breath of the Wild since 2016 because I went to E3 that year, and they had it playable there on Wii U at the E3 booth, Nintendo's booth, right? I played it there, then I played it again at the Nintendo Switch event that happened in New York. So I had a good grasp of the Great Plateau, right? Because that's what the demo is, which was like a super smart demo. I was like the beginning of this game is like the perfect demo ever, right? So I did the Great Plateau like multiple times before I actually had the game in my hand. So when I got the Great Plateau and I finally finished it, and I'm like, all right, finally, I'm gonna get off the Great Plateau. I was never able to do it in the demo. It's time. This is when the game truly begins for me. So getting off the Great Plateau was insane because this world is so gigantic. It's one of the biggest open worlds in contemporary gaming, right? There's other big open worlds, but I mean, like, I can't really compare like the open explorable world of Breath of the Wild to something like, what was that? You guys know that racing game where you could, race all across the United States? The Club or something like that, right? The Club. You can't really compare those two games. I mean, like, it's huge because it's all of the United States, right? But it's only racing. You can't really get out and have a picnic at Yosemite, right? So with that in mind, it's not Cruising USA, you guys. This game came out of the Cruising USA came out like 1,000 years ago. No, there's another one. There's another one, right? with this gigantic, vast world that I could, truly explore at my leisure, what's the first thing that came to my mind? The one thing that came to my mind is, the crew. That's what it was. The crew, right? That's the game I'm talking about. The first thing in my mind was not to save Hyrule, of course it was not to save Hyrule, it was to save Zelda, right? But the first thing that came to my mind was, I gotta figure out what happened to this land, and where's the Master Sword? How do I get the Master Sword, right? Luckily, the journey of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild was one of those where it's just like, I'm constantly eating. Like, here's your steak, here's your cake, here's your nachos, here's a tart, here's a salad. I was constantly eating. So after I did the Kakariko village thing and I went down to the swamp marsh looking area, I was like hooked by a Zora. It's like, hey, you a Hylian? Yeah, you should come over here. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't have a direction. I don't have a place to be. I don't have a direction. I'm just gonna go with the flow, right? Which is honestly the best way to play this game, right? And I hope that's the best way to play Tears of the Kingdom. So I went with the flow. I went over to Zora's Domain. That's where I saw Zora's Domain for the first time. That was my first place. And I helped Sidon, King Dorephan, and I freed Mipha from the grasp of Water Blight Ganon inside of Divine Beast Varuta, right? That was my first, Divine Beast skill. That was my first champion skill. So then I got the champion skill, and I'm like, all right, this is nice. And funny enough, there actually is a hidden order to the game, right? So for those who don't know, the hidden order to the game is that you're supposed to do Revali, Daruk, Mipha, then Urbosa, right? It's supposed to be like a circle starting at Revali. You're supposed to be going around like that, right? I got Mipha first, and then obviously it makes a lot of sense if you do Revali first because you get Revali's Gale, which helps you with traversal. Guys. I got Revali's Gale third. I got Mipha's Grace first, and I went to Urbosa second. Right? I got Revali's Gale third. And when I finally got it, I'm like, oh wow, this would have been I was like, this probably would have come in handy if I got this a lot earlier. I was like, bro, what is that? Right? But luckily, after Varuta, I was on a prowl. Before I did Vanaboris, this is the crazy thing. Before Vanaboris, I was on the prowl, right? I was on the prowl for Sheikah shrines. I was all like, okay, because by the time I got to Varuta and I did that and I got all the Sheikah, I got a bunch of Sheikah shrines. I was on the prowl, right, I'm hunting down these shits, man. I'm not doing a Nerd Divine Beast until I hunt down more Sheikah shrines. I'm like, let's go. Where they at? Because that was another thing of beauty that reward exploration and experimentation in Breath of the Wild. Finding the Sheikah shrines, and then the Sheikah shrines have little mini dungeons in themselves, and sometimes finding the shrine is the puzzle, right? And then the Sheikah shrine itself doesn't have a challenge inside; it just has a reward because in order to find the shrine and open it up, you have to go through a lot. So since I did so many, when I finally got to the Lost Woods, to Korok Forest, and I found the Master Sword, and I'm like, yo. All right, Master Sword time. And I try to pull it out, and the Great Deku is like, stop. And I'm like, yo, what's the problem? And then explain oh, you need a certain amount of life force, right? In order to pull out the Master Sword. And I'm like, oh, because, me being Zelda trash, I'm always thinking okay, is there do I have to beat at least 3 Divine Beasts in order to get the Master Sword? Because I the Master Sword always usually needs 3 things, or you defeat 3 dungeons in order to access it, right? In order to get the Master Sword, right? In Ocarina of Time, it was the 3 Spiritual Stones, right? In A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, it was the 3 Crests, right? In Wind Waker, technically, it was the 3 Pearls, right? And in Twilight Princess, I mean, Twilight Princess was just three dungeons, right? You just like, you do the 3 dungeons, you find the Master Sword, bing, bam, boom, right? So I'm like, okay, so how are we going to do the Master Sword? Oh, it's by life force. What? Like, everything about Breath of the Wild was so, like, it was engineered so perfectly, right? Like to get you to go out into this world and explore it, right? It was so, it was so perfect, right? So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, how many hearts do I need? And I was shy of 1 heart, but I didn't know that because the game doesn't tell you that you need at least 13 hearts, right? Luckily though, I was short 1 heart and I just needed 4 more orbs. I was at 12 and I didn't have any goddess orbs on me, but there were 4 shrines in the Korok Forest. So I did the Korok Forest, I got the shrines, and I got another heart. I'm like, you know what? In my head, I'm like, I got 1 more heart. Is 1 more heart gonna do it? Like, I got close last time. It looked like I was getting close last time. All right, let's do it, right? So then I took out the sword, and I'm like, look at me having the Master Sword after only 1 dungeon. I'm like, let's go, right? And then I learned about the whole malice thing, where it's like, oh, the Master Sword truly activates, because when I got it, like, Master Sword, power 30. And at the time, you know, since I only defeated 1 dungeon, 1 divine beast, I'm like, power 30. I'm like, oh, that's not bad for a one-handed sword. I'm like, but I thought it was the Master Sword. I thought it was the Master Sword. I thought it was the Master Sword. Where's the power? This is supposed to be the Master Sword. Like a strong thing, like 30. Like, it's not bad, but I thought it was more. And then I found out in the presence of malice, in the presence of the calamity, its attack strength doubles. And I'm like, to 60. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, And then when it glows up with the holy light and that 60, and I'm like, that's power. That's power. And then every time I went to all the other dungeons after that, Va Naboris, Va Meadow, and then Va Radunia, which thankfully I saved for last, because I'm like, okay, listen. All of the missions leading up to the Divine Beast, except for Radunia, were cool. They're so cool. You know, taking down Va Meadow, taking down Va Rudan, no, not Va Rudan, Va Ruta, taking down Va Naboris. It was all cool. It was all like, yeah, man. Right. We're here with the new champion of this era, you know, taking down this thing in order to access it and check him. Right. But then when we got to Va Radunia, I'm like, man, what is this escort mission bullshit, man? Ugh. That was like the only blight. Get it? Blight. As in Blight Ganon. So, that was only the blight on the game, and like in the grand scheme of everything, it was not that bad, right? Because like honestly, I did like Va Rudania's dungeon. Like that one was really fun. Not gonna lie, right? But the fact that I was able to tackle 3 of the 4 divine beasts with the Master Sword, it was something like, this is unheard of in a Zelda game. This is insane. This is wild. Breath of the Wild. So, you know, that's why I have so many fond memories of this game. And then when the DLC started coming out, when it comes to the Master Trials and the Champion's Ballad, the Master Trials was really, really cool because, like, I'm one of those gamers, right? Where, like, unless I have a reason to restart a game, depending on the game itself, I'm gonna grind it into the ground by 100%ing it, right? And then I'm gonna have my nice pristine file right there, untouchable, done. I'll go back to it for some fun, but it's 100%ed. I did it. That's me, my file, my trophy, right? Master Mode came along, and thankfully it acted as another save, right? And I'm like, oh, it's time, master mode all over again. And then I was able to experience Breath of the Wild all over again. But then I'm like, you know what? Instead of doing this, I'm going to do that, right? Like, you can get with this or you can get with that. Now, you can get with this or you can get with that. Or you can get with this and I can get with that. Like, you know, that's what master mode, like, you know, gave me. Now, master mode ain't like the best thing in terms of being compared to other hard modes or master modes in Zelda. Especially the fact that the enemies healed over time. That was like, listen, give them more HP. Give them more HP. All right, give them more HP. Make me take more damage. But that recovery over time, no, that shit gotta go. No, never again. Right? So like the gold tier enemies like gold Lionels, gold Bokoblins, gold Lizalflos, that's fine. All that was fine. Gold Mob, all that was fine. All that was fine. Me taking more damage, fine. You know, but that recovery over time, nah, that ain't it. That is not it, bro. But even with that, it was cool experiencing the land all over again. And then the Trial of the Sword. The Trial of the Sword was so cool and was so awesome. But by the way, I beat the Trial of the Sword on regular mode, right? And I got the Master Sword like Always Awakened, which was a great prize. That's a spicy prize. I'm glad they did that. And the whole cutscene with Fi was really, really nice. I did not beat the Trial of the Sword on Master Mode until like literally years later. Because you guys know what I'm talking about. That one floor. You guys know what I'm talking about. That one floor is like, nah. The one with the Lizalflos, nah. Shit sucked, bro. Man. But with that being said, just like leaning into the Champions Ballad was good because that made me really, really hopeful for the future when it comes to everything that people loved and everything that people didn't like about Breath of the Wild, right? And the biggest like pointer to that is the new dungeon they added, right? That dungeon, like, albeit like I would have liked it for it to be a bit bigger, but that dungeon acted more like a traditional dungeon than the Divine Beasts, right? Which was good. And I hope that Tears of the Kingdom is going to take that, like, you know, take that to heart and give us more traditional dungeons for that game. And even then, Breath of the Wild's combination, all right? This is why, like, when people said, I don't like Breath of the Wild because it doesn't have traditional dungeons. I think Breath of the Wild sucks because it doesn't have traditional. When people are saying that, I'm like, I get it. I get that the lack of traditional dungeons was something that you weren't really rocking with or feeling. But the fact that we had Divine Beasts on top of a massive world, on top of all 120 Sheikah Shrines, that honestly made me not for want in Breath of the Wild. I was fine. I was chilling. I was good. Right? I was grand. I was a grand slam. Denny's, $4 grand slam for breakfast. 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 pancakes, and a biscuit. Like, I was fine. But now that we're going into the sequel for Tears of the Kingdom, more. Give me the traditional dungeons, and then also give me more Sheikah Shrines or Sheikah Shrine equivalents, right? Give me more. I want more in everything, right? Don't give me less, give me more, right? Especially since that, you know, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be built upon the Nintendo Switch, which, by the way, the Nintendo Switch has games. All right, we're gonna dial because this is talking about both Breath of the Wild and Nintendo Switch. Let's redial over to the Switch. All right, look at this. Look at this bundle of joy in my hands. Look at that. I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler, among other games. But let's look at the games that we got that I personally, you know, got for the Switch. This is insane. When people say that it's like, when people say there's a kiddie console with no games, I honestly have to say, are you out of your mind? Right? Are you out of your mind? Right? So check this out. We got Fast RMX. We got Clubhouse, 51 games. We got Luigi's Mansion 3. We got No More Heroes games. No More Heroes 1, 2, and 3. And Travis Returns. Neo, The World Ends With You. New Pokemon Snap. We thought that would never happen, right? Hello? Oh, it must have been fighting for supremacy. Hold on. I think my controllers need some juice. We got Pokemon Legends Arceus, Paper Mario Origami King, which was actually not bad, right? Pokken Tournament DX, No Straight Roads, Super Mario Maker 2, Bowser's Fury, Super Mario Party, Link's Awakening Remake, Xenoblade, all three Xenoblade Chronicles games are here, right? Xenoblade Chronicles X isn't here, not yet. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch. Like, some of the best RPGs I've ever played in my life. We got Fire Emblem Three Houses. You know, people can sandbag Fire Emblem all they want, but Fire Emblem Three Houses that I still need, I still need to get engaged. I don't have engaged yet. I should download that bitch right now. All right. Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. Pokemon Sword. Pokemon Scarlet, though, right? Nier Automata finally came to the Switch. We got Metroid Dread. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. We got NES on the NSO system. NES Online, Super NES Online, Game Boy Online, Game Boy Color Online, Game Boy Advance Online, Sega Genesis Online, and N64 Online. Skyward Sword HD. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We're never getting another Mario Kart game again, guys. It's Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8. That's it. That's the last one. They're just gonna keep making DLC for that one. It's done. It's perfect. Right? It's done. Right? Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Metroid Prime Remastered. Have you guys played that game? Have you guys played Metroid Prime Remastered? That game, delicious. And then, of course, I said, like, Breath of the Wild and, like, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the two ultimate games for Nintendo Switch, right? Super Mario Odyssey right there. But the two best games, the two must-have. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. All characters coming back. Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, Byleth, Min, Steve, Sephiroth, Pyra, Mithra, Kazuya, Sora! On the Switch. 6 years, man. 6 years of joy. 6 years of nothing but W's. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Nothing but W's. 6 years of it. Yo, the Switch brought Ultimate Alliance back. The Switch has Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. The Switch brought back Ultimate Alliance, brought back Luigi's Mansion, brought back No More Heroes 3. Did you realize that? No More Heroes 3 on Switch. Luigi's Mansion 3 on Switch. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on Switch. That's so, bro. God, I love this console, bro. And name a console. Name a console that gives you two controllers out of the box. Man. Bayonetta 3, now on Switch. Man. Bruh. That's crazy. HMK, are you starting a new game of Breath of the Wild prior to Tears of the Kingdom launching? Oh, hell yeah. We have to. Like, for those that want to know the plan, all right? Here's the plan, all right? The plan. HMK's plan. The plan specifically made by HMK. The plan that's going to be done by HMK. HMK's plan. The plan. I plan on, like, because right now we're in the middle of a Wind Waker randomizer. We're going to finish that. Then we're going to do Skyward Sword HD Hero Mode 100% run. and then we're gonna do a final run of Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's, man. Just, and like honestly, I have to look back, and this is a little thing like gushing when it comes to, you know, this journey, because guys, I've been in the content creation game longer than the Switch has been out, because obviously it led up to me being able to cover the Switch and receive a Switch directly from Nintendo, right? I said directly from Nintendo. Directly from the, anyways, I've been doing content creation for a very, very long time, right? And the journey leading up to Breath of the Wild, I remember reacting to the first trailer of Breath of the Wild when it first was like Zelda Wii U. You guys remember those days? The Zelda Wii U desert, the Zelda Wii U draft, the drought. I was there and I reacted to the first trailer when they revealed it back in 2014, right? So I was there like every step of the way making content, and up until now, and now look at us, we're waiting for Tears of the Kingdom, right? And I honestly have to say that, you know, I'm so blessed and I'm so lucky and I'm so thankful for y'all being here and allowing me to do what I do on this journey. So much so to be recognized by Nintendo, to be recognized, you know, as you know, a member of the Zelda community, to be recognized, to be able to have gotten a Switch and Breath of the Wild before release date, right? In order to be making this content for y'all all those years ago, throughout the years and up until now, right? It was something incredibly stellar, you know, something that I felt like as a Zelda fan, like Zelda, The Legend of Zelda is my #1 favorite franchise. You know, people honestly, like they ask me that question all the time. They ask me, what's your favorite franchise? Zelda or Kingdom Hearts? And it's always Zelda. It's always going to be Zelda. Zelda is my #1. Kingdom Hearts is a very, very close second. Very, very close second, right? But I don't think there's anything Kingdom Hearts could do to topple Zelda. I literally grew up with this franchise, right? It was like my first true love of gaming, and it helped shape me as a person growing up as a child all the way up, you know, to now as an adult, right? And to get to the point where I was able to leave my mark on that journey leading into Breath of the Wild, the highest selling Zelda game of all time, right? The game that changed the foundation of gaming and of Zelda and of what is possible on a certain device and what's possible in the game itself, right? And to be able to do all that within my journey is just, I'm just nothing but thankful. Nothing but thankful. So many good times, so many good memories looking back. And every time I look back on everything we've been through, I just look back and smile, right? And I wouldn't give up those memories for the world. I wouldn't give up those experiences for the world. I wouldn't give up, you know, and I wouldn't have done it any different. Like, that's the thing. I wouldn't have given up those memories for anything else, and I wouldn't have done it any differently, right? I'm glad how things turned out. I'm glad what was done, and what I did leading into Breath of the Wild, and after Breath of the Wild leading into Tears of the Kingdom. And it's just nothing but joy. You know, it's in my core, it's in my bones. I could feel it in my bones. Something Cody Rhodes. All right? And man, speaking of Cody Rhodes, yo, he got bodied by Stone Cold Steve Austin when he's all like, yo, what's the best Zelda game? And Cody Rhodes is like, Ocarina of Time. And then Steve Austin's like, no, dude, Breath of the Wild. But those two are the gargantuans, right? And to celebrate the 6 years of Breath of the Wild and to celebrate our journey into Tears of the Kingdom, you know, I would just say just be on the lookout for when I have to give stuff back, you know? Because when Breath of the Wild first launched, remember back in the day when the Breath of the Wild first launched and the Switch first launched, I gave out like a couple of games and a Switch itself. And honestly, I think it is high time for us to repeat that, you know? This journey has been incredibly wild, Breath of the Wild. And for all of the, I would say, you know, I don't want, like, flaw is a strong word, right? But for all the non-optimal essences or pieces within that of Breath of the Wild, it's just that despite all of the minuses, right? And you could take this to the bank and cash it, right? Despite all the minuses, and despite how everyone would tell you that Breath of the Wild is this or that, or it's bad, or it's not a Zelda game, or it ruined this or ruined that, or how it is overhyped or doesn't deserve anything, that's wrong objectively. And this is not, and I don't care whose feelings get hurt when I say this. This is not subjective. This is objective, right? Breath of the Wild's pluses, despite its minuses, shine so brightly that the world of gaming tried to bask in that light to this point now, to this current point in time, and even beyond. And Tears of the Kingdom seeks to do that all over again, right? Breath of the Wild truly reclaimed its. And that's what makes it a Zelda game, you know. Like people can talk about, oh, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have a hook shot, it doesn't have dungeons, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't make it a Zelda game. You know, even with like certain aspects of missing the bells and whistles on what you think is a Zelda game or is formulaic to Zelda, Zelda's always been known about evolving. Zelda's always been known about exploration. Zelda's always been known about puzzles. Zelda's been always known about, you know, combat and how you approach those puzzles and how you will win the day, save the land from the impending doom and darkness. Breath of the Wild is a Zelda game, but beyond that, of the essence that's within the game, Breath of the Wild reclaimed its place as a Zelda game by changing gaming for the better forever once again, just like how the first game did, just like how A Link to the Past did, just like how Ocarina of Time did, just how the Wind Waker did, and just how Skyward Sword did. And now here we are, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom is set to do that once again. So when people say that this isn't a Zelda game, it truly is inside and out. And these 6 years constantly prove that time and time again. You know, that's what we do in the fifth dimension. We get heated, we get passionate, and that comes to the territory. And you know, it's funny. You know, a lot of Zelda fans find it odd when people get this passionate when it comes to Zelda. Like, people can get passionate and super hyped for other video game series like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, fighting games, definitely fighting games, you know, Smash Brothers, Tekken, Street Fighter, all that stuff, sports games and whatnot. But then, you know, when it comes to a game like Zelda, you know, people tend to, like, you know, believe that people should act in a reserved way, right? That, you know, this series is on a type of pedestal. Like, trust me, I put this game, like this is my favorite series of all time, and it's truly one. It's like the gargantuans, the giants, the land shapers, the, you know, mountain carvers of gaming. It truly is. It deserves to be on a pedestal. But then when they say, like, when applying how people should perceive the game or news or anything like that, that, you know, Zelda fans should consider themselves in a certain way, like, to act out in terms of being reserved and stuff. But if I'm saying anything, if anything at all on that last note, is that no. Zelda, like, if anything, Zelda should be one of those games where people should lose their minds over when it comes to a new sword, when it comes to a new character, when it comes to a theory connection, when it comes to a timeline placement, when it comes to a new piece of merch, a new book added to the series or anything like that. All of that, you know, people should be able to lose their minds in hype and jubilation over this series, right? So don't set Zelda apart from all the other games that people tend to get hyped for and, you know, scream their passion out with their lungs on the floor and their hearts in their hands and their brains in the bucket. No. Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda all over has continued to get me hyped and advance my passion for gaming with each game. And I was there since the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. I was there when they revealed not Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time for the first time. I was there when they did the whole Space World thing, and then people got mad. I got disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I got disappointed when Space World went into the Wind Waker, but the Wind Waker, that game was amazing. Oh my God, one of the saddest endings ever, one of the rawest endings ever, right? And I was there when Twilight Princess. Remember when everyone was losing their minds over Twilight Princess? You know, Zelda fans can do that. Zelda fans have been that. So never get it twisted that Zelda fans should never be anything beyond that of someone that's like, oh, that is a really interesting new piece of art. That is a really new, interesting piece of, you know, video or anything like that, right? I was there when they announced Twilight Princess. I was there when I was losing their... Oh, I lost my mind over that one piece of concept art. That one art for Skyward Sword, and we didn't even know it was called Skyward Sword. You guys know what I'm talking about? The art where it shows Link with a shield with no sword in his hand and 5 behind him. We had no idea what was going on. And it was like, hey, is that the Queen Fairy from Wind Waker? What the fuck? Right? I was there throughout all of that. When Skyward Sword finally got its name, when Skyward Sword finally released, when, you know, Breath of the Wild got revealed as Zelda Wii U, and then each trailer and stuff. And I remember when Breath of the Wild finally got its name at that E3, and that everyone was watching the trailer, and the trailer was happening, and everyone was sitting down watching the trailer at E3 on a TV on a wall, and then I was like the only one losing my mind. I'm like, y'all ain't hyped for this? What's going on? Right? And everyone's all like, it's Zelda, man. It's Zelda. I'm like, what do you mean? Did you just see that? Right? That's literally what went down. Right? And then Breath of the Wild day 1, E3, I went, played the shit out of it. Right? And then word started spreading out. Day 2, E3, it was a bloodbath. Man, other exhibitors were actually pissed at Nintendo for taking all of the hype, for taking all of the people, for taking all of the, you know, personnel that will look at other booths and whatever. Because after day 1, day 2, everyone was running to the Nintendo booth for Breath of the Wild, right? And I'm not joking. People were like tripping and vaulting over other people. It was insane, right? And once again, I played the game and I had fun with it, right? And here we are 6 years later after the game finally released on Switch. And you know, it's funny, even though Nintendo gave me the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild, I still bought it for Wii U. I still got it for Wii U. You know, it's like, it was weird. It was weird. And obviously I would prefer playing it on the Switch, but I mean, I still had to support I still had to support that grand old game. And like, man, it just gets me excited. It just gets me so hyped for what Tears of the Kingdom can do for us, right? Now, I never had my doubts of Tears of the Kingdom. The only times I had doubts for that game is not for the game itself. It's just that I really wanted to know how Tears of the Kingdom was going to separate itself from Breath of the Wild. I was waiting for that. And for me, the Sky and the Underground, very, very good additions, extremely good additions. But then I'm like, I'm not saying it's not enough, but I'm like, there has to be more. There has to be something else. And then, you know, vehicle building and all that stuff in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, there it is. And for anyone, like, you know, saying that, oh, I'm not sure about Tears of the Kingdom, I don't know. I'm a little cautious. I'm a little wary. I'm a little this, I'm a little that, where if you were like, you know, I'm not sure if Tears of the Kingdom is going to be as hype or as good as or as big, or like, you know, is it just going to be DLC for Breath of the Wild? After the latest trailer, I'm pretty sure you guys should, you know, put your minds at ease, because after playing Breath of the Wild, I've played Zelda through, like, I've played every Zelda game. I've beaten every Zelda game, right? And then going into Breath of the Wild, I'm like, you know, everything I played before actually having the game was, once again, the Great Plateau. And I was thinking to myself, like, the Great Plateau was fun, but how big, how fun, how grand can this game be? I've been through the song and dance before. I've played Ocarina of Time. I played Link to the Past. I played Link Between Worlds. I played Majora's Mask. I played Wind Waker. I played Twilight Princess. I played Skyward Sword. You know, I played all those games before. I played Minish Cap. I played the Oracle games. You know, how good can this? And then when I literally bonded with my chair, and I'm like, I get it. I got it. I got it. I'm like, wow. So with that being said, my confidence in Nintendo, in Eiji Aonuma, in Hidemaru Fujibayashi, in Nintendo EPD, in the Zelda team, my confidence in them have always been extremely high, right? I have nothing but confidence for Breath of the Wild 2, for Tears of the Kingdom, for all of that, right? Even despite them not showing us a lot for this game, through the 6 years of Breath of the Wild, my confidence never wavered. I was just curious. That's the better way to put it. I was just curious, really curious, on how this game was going to separate itself from Breath of the Wild. And now with the latest trailer and a certain book, I can tell you right now that you should be confident too. But we're not here to talk about Tears of the Kingdom. We were here to talk about the Switch and Breath of the Wild. And ladies and gentlemen, to leave you on a final note on this grand episode of the Fifth Dimension, I just want to say thank you all, and thanks to Nintendo, and thank you, Zelda, for changing my life over and over again. And Breath of the Wild was such a joy to play. And I'm probably going to play this game after this stream, because that's the beauty of a game that is truly something special. But Breath of the Wild is beyond special. Breath of the Wild is truly a gem of a game, a gem of a Zelda game, a gem of a Nintendo game. And I cannot wait to see what Nintendo has in store for the sequel. So guys, until the next video, until the next stream, this has been your boy HMK, and I want to thank you all for being part of the Fifth Dimension. Before I toss it out to the wind, let's go ahead and rate another member of the Fifth Dimension who is currently streaming. We're going to go ahead and rate our boy Ndikuba, who is currently streaming Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe on Nintendo Switch. So for those on Twitch, we're going to go ahead and rate him. And for those on YouTube, if you want to make the journey and the jump over to Twitch in order to support my good friend, another member of the Fifth Dimension, I really appreciate that. So until the next episode, this has been your boy HMK. And remember to dive deep, be brave, and enter the Fifth Dimension. All right, we'll check you guys later.